deep web isn't all about red rooms, killers, and hitmen. It is also a place for communities, like-minded people who have a shared interest, or in my case, a fetish or attraction that other people would disapprove. When I was in my teens, I found out about the Darknet. I've never cared too much for the law, mostly because of how I am. I am a zoosexual, and I find the law is unfair to me. I never chose to have a sexual attraction to animals. I just did. They are so much better than people in many cases. Animals are kind, loyal, and trusting when they get to know you. They don't act out of hate or anger, only in defense or self-preservation. Animals are beautiful and perfect. This is why I have a sexual attraction towards them. So I went to the deep web and I found a few forums about zoosexuals. Communities where like-minded people can connect and openly speak of our supposedly taboo attraction to animals. Even though it is not illegal everywhere, the stigma alone is enough to drive it underground. I have posted a ton of content on deep web forums and shared much about my exploits. I enjoyed sharing everything and felt accepted by others in these communities. You would be surprised how many of us exist. I met this one zoo that I connected with. After a while, we decided to create our own website, showcasing our mutual attraction to animals. We allowed other users to freely post videos and give out information without any rules, except for animals being hurt or tortured. Those kinds of things are called zoo sadism. In a few short months, our website gained over 10,000 users. It was a huge success. I joined a few more networks on the Darknet. Most were great, with zoos who were caring and loving towards their animals. But then, I found a video on this one board from a place called Animals Nightmare. It was everything that a true loving zoo would absolutely hate. It featured several videos of animals being killed and tortured in the most gruesome ways imaginable. One extremely popular video, which I vividly remember to this day, showed this guy physically rip a small innocent puppy in half, and then he proceeds to stick his male organs in the dead carcass to gain sexual gratification. I was shocked and I backed out of it immediately. Not much later, many of the zoo websites were taken down with the big Tor server bust. Good sites like Zoo Portal and some other zoo boards were shut down. That was just the beginning of my experiences on the deep web. I ended up exploring more than just zoo boards. After a little time, I started using Darknet scams for profit. I was a seller on one of the popular Darknet sites called Agora that partly replaced Silk Road after it was shut down. I sold fake goods such as Air Jordan shoes, along with some other luxury goods. I became a highly paid middleman in these ventures. I made quite a bit of money from selling these kinds of fake products. You would be surprised how many legitimate companies would buy my shoes to sell in their stores or stands at the mall. Even larger companies would place orders. They would retail the counterfeit items right alongside with the real goods. It's hard to believe because some of the knockoffs are so poorly made and would never be confused with the real thing. But they were selling them for top dollar to many a sucker. I would be willing to bet that someone who buys a lot of luxury goods has at least one fake in their collection. I will not tell you what companies bought the fake goods to retail, but many did. My profitable business venture ended when Agora was shut down by the feds. Things have just gotten too tight on the internet, and the deep web included. I have two friends who were working with me. One of them was actually raided by the FBI. Apparently, he was hacking unsuspecting victims, his girlfriend included. My other friend was also raided by the feds about 4 days after that. I'm thankful they are doing good now and aren't involved in any Darknet hacking anymore. I don't know what all the details of what they did, but it must have been pretty bad, whatever it was. This is my story. I hope you enjoyed it. I am still on the internet and very much active, but I have curbed much of my actions as of late. I learned my lesson from my friends being busted, and they were extremely careful with their data. My advice to anyone thinking of running any kind of scam on the deep web is don't do it. It isn't as anonymous as you may think. So, Midnight Fears, let me start by saying right off the bat, I don't like you. You seem like a self-righteous prick who would look down on somebody like me, although I am far superior to you in almost every way. I have more status and money than you will ever have in your whole life, so fuck you. I could tell your personality by the way you read your stories. Well, I hope this one pisses you off, and there is nothing you can do about it. I am someone you would call a pedophile. That's right, sneer and scoff all you want. I will still do whatever I please. I use the deep web regularly, as it is a dream come true for people like me. I love the free porn and posted much of it myself. I have made real friends, and have received helpful tips from deep websites and forums. There is so much content dedicated to people like myself. Sure, there's some crazy shit out there, but nothing like in those videos. Those are all just fake stories. For me though, the deep web is truly a candy store. If you've ever been on even the hidden wiki, you would have noticed all the child porn. You know why? It's because there are so many of us. You may not know it, but we are all around you. We are your neighbors, relatives, and friends. We are teachers, bankers, doctors, and mailmen. We are everywhere. My wife runs a successful local daycare chain in our area, mostly in affluent neighborhoods. Great for me, right? You and maybe even some of your viewers may be disgusted by this practice, but guess what? Soon it will be accepted. May not be tomorrow, but soon enough you will be made to accept it. You already normalize gay marriage and transgender rights. Think about how those were looked down on even 30 years ago. Guess what is next to become the so-called normal? That's right. It's called the domino effect, moron. We have backed the gay community for years because we know they paved the way for us. I long for the day when someone like you will be ostracized for not accepting me. Mark my words, that day will come. People are too stupid and easily manipulated. I don't call you sheep. I call you cows. You're nothing but a herd of cattle grazing and taking up space. I am a bull. I am important. I matter. And therefore, so do my desires. Read that on your little channel. I dare you. I have an unusual hobby. I collect body parts. I have all kinds of human parts in my collection. Digits, limbs, ears, eyes, even full specimens. Some of my collection is rather old, even ancient. Some are more recent. I get my parts from many different ways. I've been to the deep web, and even found sites that offer what I desire. I have bought parts legitimately through stores and auctions. I've also paid to get more recently removed parts from donors. I've even got them from the surface web, including eBay. You have to know how to find them. I have placed ads and utilized Craigslist to find suitable matches. Mostly, I turn to legal means, but there has been exceptions. I won't go into detail about those. You could probably write an entire book about some of my stories. I have paid as low as $50 for a finger off of a willing participant. I even got to remove one myself. It was glorious, almost sexual for me. The fear that it produced during the anticipation phase. I relished every second of that, even teased him somewhat. The pain that followed was forever memorable for me. How he screamed as I removed the finger. Although it's not much to look at compared to other parts in my collection, it remains one of my favorite trophies. My dream is to open an oddity store one day. I think I will just have to find the right location. I have other weird cool stuff too, so perhaps one day my collection will be large enough.